Yeah, I guess we're live. And I guess, yeah, I guess, oh, really, camera? Really? Get it? Okay. See, we're already off to a great start. Something's very odd about the framing here. This better? Okay, great. Um, so I've been going through the old Dave and Shan videos, the old videos from the OP YouTube page. Look, it's been a minute since I've revisited them. I want to see how they're building on the concepts. I want to go back and review and like make sure that I understand and sort of see, the stuff they're putting out now, sort of seeing the threads of it in the old videos. And just a quick side note on that. The old videos are not invalid. They are all just different ways of explaining the same concept that they both intuitively know. But because neither of them are teachers, it doesn't always it's not like a Tai Lopez video where it's like, here's what I am teaching you right now. Here are all the steps. Here's how to do it. And then as soon as the sensory changes, he has to make a new video. This is much more, it's all the same thing. We're just finding different ways to explain it, different ways to tackle it, a new nugget of insight and a way to fold that in and this and that. And again, what sort of got me on it was they were talking about NI versus SI in today's video. And I was like, oh, let me go back and sort of see some of these old videos and sort of see what they were doing, what they were talking about. And I stumbled onto one that just, oh man, let's see if I can find, you know what? I have it on my phone over here. And it was so good, and I was like, oh, god damn it, I'm doing that. All right, son of a bitch. Right? It was one of those kinds of moments, and I was like, all right, well, if I'm feeling this way, like, I gotta do it. Where is the thing? Here we go. It was talking about single decider versus double decider. That's literally the name of the video, single decider versus double decider. It was really interesting. It was the clip they were talking about was with JP Sears, right? The IP guy, the more spiritual than you kind of dude, and Lewis Howes, who is an ESTP double decider. So we're talking about these two guys and, sort of going through it. And they sort of pointed out like this idea of like identity and tribe is like very serious to JP. And Lewis Howes is like, yeah, no, I can see that. Yeah, that's I can see how that could be a big deal. But it's just like not a thing. He's like, why are you being weird about it? Like, yeah, I gotta keep my ego in check, and I gotta help other people, and and then I move on with my life. Whereas JP is much more like, okay, guys, like I am so self-significant. Like my ego scares me. Like I'm trying to become a dwarf. Like and he was like, this is a big deal. And Lewis Howes was like, meh. But what he talked about at the end, what Dave and Shannon talked about at the end, it just, that fucking got me. That was shit. Because what they were talking about is with the first and the fourth function specifically, talking about the saviors versus the demons. In that very extreme state, right? When we're talking about the stuff in the middle, yes, you are going to see the savior demon spikes for sure, absolutely. But they're not going to be as extreme. They're going to be a little harder to catch. And again, it's sort of why even as recently as like a couple of months ago, they'll be typing somebody and they're like, yeah, are you a consume play or you consume sleep? Like, I don't know, but you got both of them in the middle, and right. And that's sort of the thing is when you have two functions in the middle, even though one is going to be a savior, one is going to be a demon, it's gonna be harder to catch. Oftentimes, especially like, again, just to go back to our buddy Tai Lopez. So he's an INTJ, blast, and then sleep. So he's doubling up on his NI, right? Lead NI, double activated in a savior state, attached to both of his savior animals, right? He's not like a cranked up crackhead like me who has sleep last. but he's got the blast. And then right after that, he's got sleep. So his NI is talking to his TE, his NI is talking to his FI. He's just, he can go back and forth with his deciders pretty seamlessly. And yes, you can tell he's a blaster, and is through the NT savior NT or lead NT cross check for sure. But there's a balance there. He doesn't get weird about people and tribe and identity and this is what I do and I'm kind of a fuck off, but also I'm pretty great. And then this other guy also kind of a fuck off, but also pretty amazing. I've been very into Michael Chiklis lately. Been watching The Shield, getting super into it. That's, again, I talked about this in the double masculine video and like moving the modalities and like how much you can and can't do that. So I've been listening to podcasts with this guy. He's fucking great. Like I would love to I feel like Chiklis and I would get along super well because we're both doubling up on our masculine SE, but for him it's lead and for me it's last. And so we'd be able to play off of each other. And like I would be like the more heady, organized blaster guy, and he's like the fun play energy. I don't know. I think it'd be dope. But it's really interesting. He does this in a couple of interviews, but in this one in particular with a guy named James Vesey, I think is the guy's name. I don't know, but it's like an 1.5 hour long podcast. It's a great interview, and he's talking about. I mean, they are like. He is breaking this guy's balls. Like he is absolutely fucking with this guy for the whole interview. And he expects the other guy to punch back at him. And the other guy does. And they both have a great fucking time. And it's so much fun to listen to and to just like, observe secondhand and be like, okay, I get it. This is that double masculine, roasting rapport. But what's so key about it, and where I think that a lot of people don't, they get a little fucked off when they, when we're talking about like roasting and punching the tribe and toxicity and the whatever. It's that both of them are so adept at knowing what is too far. They're so good about that and being like, hey, he's like, if somebody like try to, make a joke or make a comment, make a roast, and then the other person laughs, is like, yeah, right, we did the thing. And then he does a callback. It was very cool. But you can tell like there are some lines he won't cross. And he's like, you know what? No, that's a little too far. I'm not going to go there with that. Or if he does say something, like there were a couple of them that didn't land when he's like, yeah, no, you know what? You're right. That was a little too far. I'm sorry. Let me walk that back. And then we can move on, right? And it's so cool. It's so cool to watch somebody that situationally aware. And again, Chiklis's lead masculine SE play, right? He's got the double masculine play energy with his SE and his TE, but he's also doubled up on his demon feminine FI in the middle. So you're getting that balance, and it's super cool. And I'm like, yes, that's double deciding. That's it. That's the shit. And that is something that IPs and EJs absolutely will struggle with. They bring up Kathy Griffin a lot, where she did the thing where she did the the photo shoot with Donald Trump's bloody head, right? And then she made this enormous apology. So again, let's unpack that again, right? For a second, when we're talking about the in context of single decider versus double decider and the overcorrecting, right? Is that what I call this? Right, overshooting, right? So Kathy Griffin does not like Donald Trump. Full disclosure, I am also not a Trump fan for reasons that I hope should be very, very obvious to you. Whatever. But she's like, oh my God, like, I hate Donald Trump so much that I now need to, like, this is how I need to express. I need to be so extreme in my hate for Donald Trump that I'm just gonna like do this way, way over the line, even by comics standards. That was like, okay, Kathy, you gotta, okay, that was a little too far. Gotta bring it back a little bit, right? But here's what she didn't do. Now, here's the thing. Especially if you're a comic, your job is to, in the words of George Carlin, figure out where the line is, then deliberately cross it, bring the audience along with you, and make them glad you did. That's the job of a comic, right? So the fact that she went too extreme for what was situationally appropriate, that is not enough of a cross-check to be like, she went way too far. Clearly, she's a single decider, right? Maybe she's whatever. Too far a single decider. I don't actually know what her full type is. I think she's an IP. Maybe she's an IP. If I had to guess. I don't actually know. I have not researched her. I haven't tried to type her, but I know she's a single decider. When she was told by friends, family, media totally shit on her, as they should have, that bit was too far, right? That was too much. That was inappropriate. She shouldn't have done that. What she didn't do was she didn't slowly walk it back and be like, you know what? You're right. That was a little over the line. I'm sorry. I'll be more considerate next time. And then she'll move on, right? That is not what she did. And this is how you can catch her single decidedness, right? She went from, I'm going to do this thing, fuck Donald Trump, basically saying like, I hope he is beheaded and like, whatever. She goes from that all the way to, I am so sorry to everyone that I disappointed. I know that people look up to me and I have failed them. This is the worst thing that anybody could have. Like, she went like full fucking martyr, and you're like, whoa, what is happening? What is happening? And that to me is the swing that you're looking for when you're trying to figure out your own first and fourth functions, when you're trying to triangulate this way, right? And it's, I talk often about this idea of like, I have a fear of gathering. And what I mean by that is this, is I will hold on to things, ideas, things that have some sort of abstract representation for way longer than serves me. Way longer. Why? Because I don't trust my ability. I'm getting better at this, but for a very long time, I didn't trust my ability to gather new in a not extreme way. Right? So just to give you an example, I walked 15 miles today. So as I mentioned before, I love going on big walks. That's why, again, I just came home and eating lunch and having these feelings, whatever, right? And so I went to Fat Burger. I was going to have a steak, and I threw the steak. It was a whole chaos thing of the trash can and the steak and the sensory. But I was like, you know what? I really wanted beef. Like, I want something like big and heavy. I've been working out a lot. Did 15 miles. Like, yeah, burger and fries. It's a hot day. Give me that summer vibe. I'm listening to Katy Perry. Like, hashtag California Girls. Side note, that song came out a decade ago. You're welcome. And so I'm, doing it and eating it. And I was like, ooh, this is really interesting. And I was able to sort of zoom out for a second and sort of see what I was doing. And the reason that I needed this sort of like extreme kind of meal is a couple of reasons. One, it's just delicious. I fucking love burgers, man. Get the for like the flame charred, and you get the ketchup and the mustard and pickles and the salt, fat, acid, heat, umami bomb in your mouth, just fucking, and you're like, ah. Anyway, that got a little more masculine, sensory, sexual than I wanted it to. Whatever. You get my point. So what I realized as far as my pattern goes, because I'm really good about eating well, consciously, whatever, throughout the week. Very, very, very good at that. I have a thing with like, it's not a gluten thing, it's a grain thing. It's the way that grain gets processed. My body's not too good at handling that. So I don't really eat bread. I eat a lot of, roasted vegetables and, meats and more vegetable. Like it really is mostly meats and vegetables with a little bit of dairy, some cheese, a little bit of fruit here and there. But I would say like once-ish a week, I will get just like what I was gonna do was like a big steak or some big bad for you, not very nutritious but very delicious kind of meal. And I was like, oh wait, hang on a second. This is what we're talking about. Okay, great, cool. And what I realized is that, again, part of this is just coronavirus nonsense. And everybody's having to make concessions and just deal with all sorts of shit. But in this particular instance, like this has actually been like a pattern for me. I do stress eat for sure, historically have. And a lot of that comes down to my lead feminine NI and overworking that, and then doing the masculine SE, particularly the masculine SE consume attached to my demon FI as well. Right? So I'm Savior NT Blast, which means I have demon SF consume. both of those are my demon functions. And I was like, oh, I see what's happening. And what's happening, right? I see what's happening here. Is that I'll try to over control the abstract and like, let me put together a plan and let me do the thing and the boop and the bop, right? In the very like robotic, perfect, magical Christmas land kind of scenario. And then, but that's not a sustainable way to live and to be. And then I'll go super extreme on the other end of like, you know what? This isn't working for me. Fuck it. And then I'll just go super hardcore on the other, on the other side of it. What I have been able to do that I actually don't think is too bad. So I'm not doing this on a daily basis. I'm not even really doing it on a weekly basis. Like, as far as me going and like getting takeout, getting like this is a big fucking burger. It was huge. I had the fries with it, and it was a whole thing. It was like a lot of calories. But I did a couple of things to sort of anticipate that and to couch that to make the tidal wave not as dramatic. I was like, okay, I know that I just want this thing. Like SF Animal wants to consume the thing. Great. Step one, can we do this in a moderate way? No, Hulk smash, need to consume. You're like, oh, fuck me. All right, fine. So I was like, all right. And I had been wanting to do this for a while, like have a big meal kind of day. So I was like, all right, let's plan it. We know that we're going to be gathering this thing. Let's do a little bit of planning so that we know that this thing is coming. We can account for it. It's not going to be like, I'm being super tight, super tight, super tight, super tight. You know what? Fuck it. Now I want all of the things and I just gorge myself, right? It was, okay, this is a thing we want to do. Great. We're going to be doing a little gathering. Going to be doing a little planning. So I'm going to do it on a day when I know that I'm going to be walking a lot. So it's not one of those days where I wake up and, if it's like a rest day, I'm not going to gorge on a rest day. That doesn't work for me, right? I'm gonna be a little more conscious of the control chaos balance, right? But more importantly, what I realized that I historically have had a lot of trouble with, that I'm trying to get better at, is this idea of walking it back a little bit. And that's something that's always been really hard for me. Like, I am very much a 0 to 60 kind of person. It's what makes me, it's what has given me a lot of success. And it's also what's wrecked my life in a lot of ways. So, think of good with the bad. But, I think about sort of the NI, feminine NI, masculine SE dichotomy, right? And one thing that I have been more cognizant of is, okay, I love umami. I love this sort of like umami bomb kind of food. It's my absolute favorite taste, umami. It's not close. I could eat umami shit all day, every day, for the rest of my life, and be the happiest motherfucker in the world. My favorite. So what I've been trying to do, again, slowly, #coronavirus, but to build in these smaller umami bombs throughout the week, and to do it in a more judicious way so that it isn't this all or nothing kind of thing. I saw this a lot in my old life in New York with a lot of my friends there, particularly a lot of people in the activist community. And one of the reasons that we kind of got sideways is I was always trying to be a little bit more balanced about not just all of my functions, but particularly my DE and my DI, right? I just could never play the Bernie Sanders game of like insane, intense IP self versus tribe. Or on the flip side, the people who I really don't even talk to anymore are, the people who are the overcranked EJs, the, play, blast, consume, sleep, blast activist EJs, because their whole thing is like, I need to give all of my energy and attention externally. If you aren't giving 110% of yourself all day, then you are failing. You are a moral failure. And then they would have these massive, like, fuck off everybody else. Nobody talk to me. I need a self-care month. Fuck all of you. And you're like, I feel like there's a middle ground here. I feel like it maybe doesn't need to be so intense. And that's one of the things that I'm sleep last, so I'm obviously going to have issues with that for sure. But, this idea of, yes, I'm going to give my all. I'm going to do the thing. I'm going to play like hell. And then when it comes time to do the me stuff, I'm like, you know what? I'm kind of tired. I kind of want to fuck off for a little bit. I will go fuck off, but not in a super intense way. And then it's like, oh yeah, the tribe needs me for a thing. All right, great. I'll go hang out with the tribe and do tribe shit. Tribe doesn't need me. Great. I'm going to go back to my apartment, right? Again, still double activated on Savior TE. Still need to work on my FI. Still need to work on the sleep, 100%. But it's not these intense, overshooting the mark and then way overcorrecting that the EJs and the IPs have. I have a friend, IP friend. I think she is a sleep last IP. So she's like the best. It's like she's, my typing of her is that she's a double masculine Anna Kendrick. So she's very, very interesting. She consume play for sure. I think she has blast third. I don't know. But again, cranked up IP energy. And so when she's very all or nothing about super tribe. Like, we are doing the thing with the tribe. That tribe member is amazing. And, I'm helping this person and that person and this cause and that cause. And I'm going to save all the people, and do a fuck ton of play energy. And then when it comes time for me time, she's like, and I'm going off the grid for a week to celebrate my birthday. Nobody talk to me. And you're like, I mean, cool. I don't think it has to be that intense, right? And that's, again, this isn't a good or a bad thing, but that is an area where she's weird. Conversely, I'm weird about my feminine NI and my masculine SE. And even more so when my biggest spike is where you really, really can catch me is between ST and NF. Hachimachi. Whoo! Like, I will hammer the fuck out of ST. I am really, really adept at ST. But I'll go too far with it, and then I'll be like, oh, fuck, I am doing a little too much ST, but it's never a little too much ST by the time I catch it. It's always, I've done way too much ST. And so now I'm like, oh, fuck, I got to bring it back. Now let me swing all the way around out of frame to the most extreme version of NF. And you're like, what the shit, dude? There's a middle ground. You're fine. Like, it doesn't, there's a whole spectrum that's on camera, right? If I'm just going ST, wee, all the way over to NF. Or I guess if we're talking about throw your hands in the air, right? I'm not going all the way over here, right? I'm like, yeah, hands over here. And then we go over here. And then we go over here, right? I'm still staying in frame. I'm not being weird about it. It's not like, where the fuck did he go? Why is he all the way over in wackadoo ST land? Because then when I try to correct myself, it's never, I'm way over here, and I'm like, oh, I went a little too far. Let me bring it back to a nice middle ground. It's never that. It's always, I stay over here, and someone's like, hey, you should probably walk that back. And I'm like, fair enough. Look, guys, I walked it back. I'm like, we still can't see your hands. Oh, I gotta bring my hands in more? No, more. I still can't see your hands. Further to the left. I'm like, you know what? Fine. You want it further to the left? There. You're like, God damn it. No, now you're off camera in the other. We just want to see your hands. Oh, okay. I guess here are my hands. Okay. Right. And so one of the things that I've really been trying to work on is just keep it all in frame. Keep everything in frame. Sorry, I need to get some water. And actually, that reminds me. One of the things that has been really helpful for me doing this series, making videos on my own page, is because when I do them live, that has weirdly worked my control chaos muscle a lot in a way that I very much wasn't expecting. Because what I've had to force myself to be comfortable doing is doing things like getting a glass of water. Because here's the thing, camera's rolling. Like, the camera is rolling. I got another 10 minutes of this video of shit that I want to talk about, how to fill it in, but I'm a little thirsty. And I can't pause this video because it is live. So I guess there's no way to play the control chaos game. Right? If I'm doing this live, I can't play the extreme versions of that game. I can't do it because here's what will happen. If I didn't take a drink of water just then, right? If I didn't break the illusion that I know what the fuck I'm doing and seem really controlled and I prepared this thing and I did the whatever and the whatever. you know, here's what would have happened is I would have stayed here and I would have been like, okay, a little dry, a little mommy, a little savory. I just ate. Okay, but it's fine. We're going to barrel through. We're going to fucking do it, you know? And then what would have happened is I would have been like, no, you know what? Fuck this. Fuck this entire video. I'm redoing it. I'm going to get a goddamn glass of water. I'm going to blow my nose, which I need to do because it's been very itchy. My nose gets itchy when it gets hot out. I don't know why. Right? I would have been like, you know what? Fuck this entire video. I'm getting a drink of water. I'm taking a shower. I'm going to blow my nose. I'm going to scratch my balls. Great. We're going to do all the things. And then we're going to come back and it's going to be very nice. And we're going to redo the video. And then nobody will ever know that I was like a fucking weirdo IJ about it because I seem very calm and controlled and collected, right? Don't do any of the gathering on camera because you're responsible for super NI, organized, controlled. You know what the fuck you're doing the whole time, right? And so this is sort of kind of brought me out of that. It's getting me out of that, right? Now, look, realistically, this is like a little YouTube channel. We're just making videos about personality psychology. This is not like, I don't know. This isn't, I'm not making a TV show, right? I'm not me fucking up and having to, you know, drink a glass of water, whatever. It's not the end of the world. It doesn't matter. And in fact, some of the most iconic moments in movie history have been improvised. There's a great scene with, it's Brando and it's, what is it from? Brando, On the Waterfront with Brando. So it's Marlon Brando and Eva Marie Saint, and they're walking along and having this conversation, and she drops her glove. That was not scripted. That was not supposed to happen. So he picks up the glove, and he just starts like noodling with the glove while they're having the conversation, and it's this like beautiful, sweet, tender moment, right? That never would have happened if the director had yelled, cut. If the director had yelled, cut, then, you know, you just said, you know what? Sorry, we dropped the glove. Let's take it back. Here are the marks. Let's stay rolling and action, right? We would have never have gotten that like lovely scene. You know what? I want to find, just to end this, right? Because I'm talking about the overcorrecting and feeling comfortable with the control versus the chaos and really focusing on the people. We're going to go with improvised movie scenes. Right. Here we go. The scene in Goodfellas. So I don't know that really counts. Again, these are all like, you know, improvised. Technically, this isn't like serendipity happened. But I'm trying to think. Here we go. Here's the big one. Here's like the best example. So in the first Iron Man movie, very first Iron Man movie, which I want to say was 2005. God, is that one the first Iron Man movie? 2008. Okay. Right. 2008 was Iron Man. 2012 was Event. Okay, great. So the first Iron Man movie comes out, and they're filming it. They're doing the thing. And then he has that iconic last line without which the entire Marvel Cinematic Universe probably would not exist. What he says is he's given the press conference and they had this whole script, they had a whole thing. And Robert Downey Jr. gets up, he does the press conference, he does the thing. And then he says, do you have anything to say? Do you have anything to say? And at the end, he's instead of giving his normal speech, he says, I am Iron Man. Wow! And it's like, blackout. It was amazing. Directed by Jon Favreau. Just the best. If the director, I think it was Jon Favreau, and who is this? Jon Favreau and who wrote this fucking thing? Okay, a million people worked on this. Yeah, okay, but if Jon Favreau had said, "Cut, Bob, what are you doing? Bob, we're not revealing that he's Iron Man in this scene. Scrap it, do it again. Please fucking say the lines right this time." We wouldn't have had this iconic movie moment that made billions of dollars, right? But what happened is that what he said didn't matter. It was so authentic, right? If we're thinking about, the control, the chaos, what the script says, what he says, who gives a fuck, right? If we choose to play the DIDE game in a more extreme way, really focus on the people, self and tribe, which is what I need to do a little bit more, then these opportunities where it's like, God, fuck. That is not how I saw that scene going, but goddamn, that's cool, right? And crucially, that was just one of 7 takes, right? That was one of the options. It wasn't, oh my God, that is brilliant. We have to use this. The fucking heavens parted and the light shines down and the wah, right? No, it was, here's an option. We could do this other thing. In post-production, it'll come together as it comes together. There's a lot that can happen in the editing process. We'll see how it goes, right? That thing to me is how the fuck do people do that? How do people have that level of comfort between control and chaos? And it's because when they, overshoot, right? When they go too far, the idea of walking it back isn't that hard for them, right? It was, oh shit, yeah, that move didn't work. Let's bring it back. Let's try a different move instead. Great. They're super cool with that. And it isn't, no, but this is how the scene goes, and this is the architecture of the thing, and this is what was planned, and this is the whatever, right? You're like, ooh, all right, try the thing. Let me walk it back, right? No harm, no foul. Let's just do it again. Adjust the plan on the fly, figure out this. All right, well, I guess if we shoot it from this angle, it's going to take a while to move the lights, but fuck it, we got the time. Yeah, let's move the lights to over there. Let's just reset up because the sun is moving, right? Whereas me, the IJ, is like, no, but you had the setup and you can't change the setup because the setup and you didn't, but the efficiency, but this is where the thing, dude, it's fine. It's fine. We missed the mark, come back. We're just walking it back a little bit. It's terrific. We're all good. It's all good. No harm, no foul. And so I think that what's really, really important to me is to find, part of finding balanced people in my life, it's not just people who are naturally balanced, because it's real easy for me to find people who are balanced on their middle functions, right? I got a lot of IJ friends. I got a lot of EP friends because we can go back and forth with the DE and the DI. Like, it's all good. We're cool. Don't even trip. But what you really want to look for is somebody who is trying to be more balanced overall and is trying to be like, hey, yes, I'm, I get a little too extreme in this realm. So let me try to rein that in. And let me try to stretch here. So again, so that we're really well-rounded. As opposed to going back to my decider friends, look, one of the reasons that we kind of had a falling out, en masse, is because they were just so, they couldn't get out of this person is terrible and this person is amazing. And I want to align myself with the amazing person. And if you're not with the amazing person, then you're with the fuck off crowd. And you're like, okay, well, here's the thing. The amazing group is not so amazing. And the fuck off crowd, they're not so bad, right? We can be more balanced about it. Now, here's the thing. Again, to bring it back to Trump and Kathy Griffin, I don't disagree with her. In terms of chopping the board in half, like, do you like Donald Trump? Do you not like Donald Trump? I very obviously fall on Kathy Griffin's side of the board when it comes to my dislike for Donald Trump. Again, for reasons that I hope should be extraordinarily obvious to you. But, I don't know. He's not my main focus. He's not where I'm pointing, all of my ammunition of like, fuck Trump. Like, I can't. That's not, I can't go that extreme, right? When it comes to these deciders, I don't have it in me. I've been actually trying to work on it to get a little bit more, all or nothing when it comes to people. And so I do learn from my decider friends in that way. But there were a lot of times when the fact that I was double deciding was problematic for them. They're like, again, they didn't say this in so many words, but they're like, listen, this is a single decider game. So either you can single decide with us or single decide against us. And if you have the audacity to try and double decide, well, then you're against us. And I was like, you know what? Fair enough. I'm against you guys. Bye. And I don't talk to them anymore. So I do think that it is important to find people who want to be well-rounded. And part of being well-rounded means giving people, including yourself, space to fuck up a little bit and the opportunity to walk it back, right? And if you really, really fuck up, still give them the opportunity to walk it back to the middle, right? That's going to be harder for them. Anytime you go more extreme, you're going to want to counterbalance it to the other extreme. But give them the chance to like overshoot and then pull it back, and then overshoot and then pull it back, and then undershoot and then move it forward, right? Like, it doesn't have to be this insane rubber band all the time. And that's true for all the functions. That's just growth. That's just what we're doing here in OP land. But I bring this up just to sort of end on, because that's a really good way to catch yourself. Is where is there an area where I don't feel like I can just walk it back a little bit? And for me, that's controlling chaos, right? Where if I get too chaotic, there's no gradient of like, ooh, all right, hang on, I'm being a little chaotic. I'm leaning a little too hard into my masculine SE. Great. Well, the only other option is to go all the way the fuck back to super feminine N Island. No, it's not that we dislike your masculine SE. It's that the amount that you're giving is not appropriate to the situation. You're like 4 clicks too much, not 100 clicks too much. So just walk it back 5 clicks and then we're good. And so that's what I've been trying to do, especially with my first and last functions, which is harder, but that's where the work really is. Because you can do that with your middle functions a lot more easily. And so you can use your middle functions to sort of triangulate and say, okay, well, if I'm doing this kind of coin behavior here, what does that look like translated to my poles? Now I think you're really going to start to see a lot of movement, not only growing your demons, but growing them in a way where when you do overshoot, you can bring it back and you're not going to wreck your life by overdoing it with your saviors or your demons. It's just, there's a little flexibility. You're good. You fucked up a little bit. You can fix it a little bit. It's all good. It's fine. We're still moving forward. All right, that's all I got for today. Thank you so much for hanging out with me. I will talk to you guys later. Bye!